Who is the better midfielder between Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo? Now, the battle to find out the best defensive central midfielder in the Premier League has been raging amongst Arsenal and Chelsea fans. Since both players are so good for their clubs, their fans will naturally back them. The reason these two players are always going to be compared against each other is that they both play for big clubs that are rivals, they both are of similar age, they play similar positions, and remarkably, they were both bought from mid-table clubs in West Ham and Brighton for over £100 million each in the year of 2023. Now, usually spending that much money on a player, especially a central defensive midfielder, never works out. But remarkably, these two haven't put a foot wrong for their club, and their price tags are never brought up anymore because of how good they have been. Starting with Moises Caicedo at Chelsea, he is 2 years younger than Declan Rice. Now, he plays as a pure defensive midfielder for Chelsea, like a prime N'Golo Kante, who also played for Chelsea. Caicedo runs all over the pitch to make tackles and press opponents. He has an extraordinary talent to put in robust, hard, strong, but fair tackles with his legs, similar to Kante. Caicedo isn't a dirty player. He hardly commits fouls, but his legs are like tree trunks, in that when he plants it in the front of the ball, it causes panic from the opponents when they see him approaching, and he makes them lose the ball. For Declan Rice, he is the more all-round midfielder, and he plays more of a slightly advanced position than Caicedo. Rice's most fair comparison would be Patrick Vieira, where he does it all on the pitch. He'll help out in defense, track back, make interceptions, then he'll carry the ball, put in crosses, even play on the wing if he has to. He also takes set pieces. He's a true box-to-box midfielder. Now, comparing the two is a bit difficult because you also have to consider the club and team they're playing in right now. For example, Declan Rice is the best player for the best team in the Premier League currently. He is surrounded by better players, and he also leads that team to be better, so his performances are elevated more. Caicedo is playing with a few star players, but Chelsea are full of young players that need to grow, and Caicedo is leading them. So once again, this makes it difficult to have a fair comparison as their environments and the teams they're in are different. But let's see what the stats are saying about the two players anyway. For example, Caicedo has a tackle win rate at 61%, which is the 14th highest in the league, while Declan Rice is 17th with 60% tackle win rate. In terms of interceptions and block passes, Caicedo makes 4.6 per 1,000 of the opponent's touches, and this ranks him 4th highest for a midfielder. Rice, on the other hand, makes 2.4 interceptions per 1,000 opponent's touches, and that ranks him 59th amongst all midfielders. Caicedo averages 1.8 ball recoveries per 90 minutes, ranking him 7th highest among midfielders, while Rice isn't even in the top 25. So when it comes to the defensive stats, Caicedo is way ahead of Declan Rice. But as expected, Rice does more attacking stuff for his team, and he plays in a more advanced role, and he comes ahead in most of the attacking stats. For example, he ranks 2nd in the league for all carry distances, while Caicedo isn't in the top 25. Rice is also ahead of all midfielders in the entire Premier League in expected assists, and that's partly down to Rice becoming the best corner taker in all of Premier League, and Arsenal scoring so many goals from that. Rice is slowly growing his legend status at Arsenal because they haven't had a player like him since Patrick Vieira, a player who never has an off game, is never injured, always gives a minimum of 8 out of 10 performances. So who is the better midfielder then? Well, it is hard to judge because both are expected to do different things for their club. Caicedo is ahead in defensive stats and Rice is ahead in offensive stats. But if we're combining everything, all the stats and performances, then Caicedo might slightly edge it because he is arguably the best defensive midfielder in the entire world. He's like a destroyer of opponents and destroyer of attacking plays for opponents. But each fan base will tell you that their player is irreplaceable to their squad. Chelsea are slightly behind Arsenal in competing for the championships, so naturally they don't dominate as many matches. Therefore, Caicedo has to do more defensive action. Arsenal have styled their team to bring the best out of Declan Rice's all-round ability with and without the ball and in set pieces. The two players are of similar age and they're leading their clubs that are big rivals, so every time they play each other, it's going to be a battle in the midfield and it will have extra eyes on them to see who performs better. And this is exciting for the fans because not since the days of Patrick Vieira versus Roy Keane have we seen this kind of midfield comparison battles. When N'Golo Kante or Rodri were at the top of their game, they had no one competing with them. But now in this era, we have Declan Rice versus Moises Caicedo, and therefore the comparisons and debate will continue. But regardless, both Chelsea and Arsenal are lucky to have one of these players in their team. Thank you for watching my video. Drop a comment below on who you think is better between Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo, and also subscribe to my channel to support future content.